Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another webinar today. We will be talking about managing large-scale survey operations with IDinsight's SurveyStream. Here are our speakers for today. To begin, for some background, IDinsight is a global advisory, analytics, and research organization. Their work spans multiple industries from agriculture to health to financial inclusion, and their clients range from multilateral agencies to governments to nonprofits across Asia and Africa. All of which is to say that they have a wealth of experience implementing data collection efforts and large-scale data collection efforts and helping clients turn that data into action. Now, to introduce our speakers, we have Eric Dodge, Director of Engineering and Monitoring Systems, who brings over 10 years of experience designing and building data systems for clients across Asia and Africa. Next, we have Ginu Thomas, Senior Data Engineer, who is a tech lead on projects delivering dashboard and data engineering solutions, which includes monitoring and evaluation systems and central data repository and reporting tools. We have Utkarsh Gupta, data engineer who builds scalable data pipelines and contributes to data warehouse design, monitoring systems, and full stack solutions for IDinsight projects, including SurveyStream. And last but not least, we have John B. Mayer, Senior Product Manager who works on designing and rolling out AI and data-driven products that make technology accessible to clients. And my name is Shirley Sweeney, and I will be your moderator for today. And here is our agenda for today. So at a high level, we will go through an overview of SurveyStream and why it was developed, how it relates to SurveyCTO. We'll also walk you through a demonstration of the software in action, and then end with the Q&A. And with that, I will kick it off to John B. to start us off.
Thanks, Shirley. So let's get started with by going over the status quo of survey management. Like Shirley mentioned, IDinsight has been conducting primary data collection activities of various scales, small, medium, and large, over the last 10 years. We have been doing this across several regions in Southeast Asia, India, Eastern and Southern Africa, Western and Northern Africa. So by conducting all of these projects, we have a lot of in-house knowledge and experience about conducting primary data collection activities. We have bucketed the typical tasks involved in these activities into two parts. The first is related to surveyor management, which involves things like hiring and training surveyors. The second is data collection management. Of course, parts of data collection management also include surveyor management. Within data collection management, we have assignments. By assignments, we mean surveyors have to survey respondents, and the process of assigning activities to the surveyor on a daily basis is called assignments. And then there are also standard activities like monitoring productivity metrics, which includes looking at surveys by status, monitoring the productivity of surveyors, aggregating these metrics across regions if you're doing large-scale data collection, etc., and data quality monitoring as well. So we'll drill deeper into data quality monitoring in the later parts of the webinar. So yeah, these are typically the steps that are repeated for each survey, and there are some levels of customization across these buckets, depending on the survey's context. So we have identified some of the challenges that are associated with these tasks. The first thing is time crunch. So a lot of teams, when they're running data collection projects, tend to set up many of these systems from scratch. That includes setting up do files, maybe building Google Sheets-based dashboards for monitoring your productivity and data quality, using similar systems to track surveyor hiring and training. Setting up these systems takes up a considerable amount of time, and it adds to a lot of load in the light of existing data collection prep work, which includes other activities like making sure your questionnaire is well tested, bench testing, sampling, all of that. The second big challenge when it comes to setting up these systems manually is also they could potentially be inaccuracy. So if you're setting up like a manual data pipeline and importing data into Google Sheets and sharing that information with the field teams, there could be potential errors that creep in. And this kind of folks then have to spend time drilling down on specific metrics related to productivity or data reconciliation. It's a lot of time sink that happens for teams. Additionally, there are data limitations when working with systems like Google Sheets. There is a 10 million cell count limit on Google Sheets. So using a Google Sheets at scale kind of is a limitation. If you're also using a lot of formulae on Google Sheets, you know that it kind of tends to become slow if as more and more number of rows are added. And one of the bigger issues is also that in primary data collection activities, often in the survey responses, there is PII, there are sensitive responses, and publishing these on Google Sheets is not handling data in the most secure manner. Over to you, Shirley, to highlight some of the challenges that you found in a survey that was run by SurveyCTO.
Yes, thank you, John B. So I wanted to add a complementary data point here, which is, like John B mentioned, a user survey that we conducted. And in this one, we asked users what their main challenges were when working with surveyors. And we presented them with a lot of options, including, do you have challenges with hiring or challenges with training? And for those options, respondents said, not really. They didn't have too much trouble with those areas. However, what you can see on this slide is when presented with the option of ensuring best practices are followed, which speaks to what John B was just talking about, the majority, around 70%, said that they did have challenges. So this is to say that this adds another data point as to why IDinsight developed SurveyStream, right? Because sometimes creating survey instruments are not the challenging part. It's actually figuring out how best to work with the people who are helping you carry out the surveys.
Actually, that's a great introduction for why we built out SurveyStream. So SurveyStream is essentially a software management product that we've built to help teams that conduct primary data collection activities streamline their on-field operations. So a lot of the features of SurveyStream draw on the experiences of data collection at IDinsight, and they are molded around the best practices for data collection. So I'll quickly go over some of the key features of SurveyStream. One is that it's very modular. So we'll also look at its modularity in the demo, but essentially depending on your survey, you can pick and choose which features are a good fit to be used in your survey. It also supports multiple survey modalities. So in-person and phone surveys, both are supported. We offer multilingual support, and by extension, it can also be used across different geographies. Often in primary data collection activities, there are different types of samples that are used. There can be static list-based samples, or you can also have dynamic samples that are generated as you're conducting the field ops. So both of these sample types can be handled as inputs within SurveyStream. We also support varying sample sizes. If you have a sample size of 2,000 or 20,000, we have the data infrastructure to support both these ends. Also, what we have observed is field team structures vary depending upon the context of the survey. You could have a small flat team of, say, 8 surveyors, or if you're running like a really large data collection activity, there could be over 100 surveyors, where a more hierarchical field team structure makes sense. Like you have a field manager, field supervisors, and then surveyors. So each of these team structures can be set up in a custom way on SurveyStream. It's fairly easy to do it. And you can also assign roles and permissions depending on which features, which data sets you want to provide access to. So here is an overview of some of the key features of SurveyStream. So I'll quickly go over some of them. The first is assignments. Like I mentioned, we have a web app to assign targets to surveyors. This web app also gives the option to handle surveyor dropouts. So if there are targets which have been assigned to surveyors and it's a survey that has not been completed, these get released back into the pool of assignable targets and you can reassign it to active surveyors. Additionally, load balancing of work can be done amongst surveyors by looking at metrics like surveyor productivity. There's a cool feature called email automation. So you can use all of this data to communicate information to field team members. This can be about assignments. It can be sent as an attachment. It can be sent in different languages. You can schedule sending out these emails, can have specific triggers, filters, all of that. This basically makes communicating with field teams fairly simple. There are also rich dashboards to monitor productivity and data quality. We've also built out like standard templates, which use standard metrics for monitoring these. We also have features to do media audits. So this is audio files and photo files. They are published onto a Google Sheet. The media is actually stored in a secure link and it's password protected. You can also export certain fields from SurveyCTO so that if you want to do like a photo audit and match the image with certain fields that have been entered into your SurveyCTO form, it can be done easily. There's also assignments optimization. So if the GPS locations of the surveyors and the areas which they have to survey are available, then using the principle of least distance traveled, we can match surveyors smartly to the areas that they need to survey or the particular targets that they need to get assigned to. Lastly, we also built out a feature for supporting with hiring, and this helps with like tracking candidates across different hiring stages and also training. I'll now pass it over to Ginu to deep dive into the data quality feature.
Thanks, Janvi. All right, so among all the features that you saw in the previous slide, we decided to pick one feature for the presentation today, and that's data quality monitoring. So to begin with, the workflow that you see on the screen is probably something you are familiar with. This is one of the many different ways in which you can set up like a data quality monitoring process for an ongoing survey. This involves a person downloading data from SurveyCTO, and then you probably have some code written in Stata to perform high-frequency checks and flag submissions that are failing these checks. And then you would like to have like perhaps a way of communicating the outputs of these checks to the field teams for them to take some course corrective actions. So you would set up like maybe a dashboard or a Google Sheet where these outputs are uploaded and shared with the field teams. And this is a process you have to repeat like at regular intervals throughout the survey, depending on how frequently do you like these data quality metrics to be communicated with the field team. So how SurveyStream comes into the picture here is it tries to automate a lot of steps that you see in this workflow. So SurveyStream provides dashboards which are on Apache Superset, which can be used to monitor data quality. And these dashboards update automatically every 30 minutes. And some of the key advantages of using SurveyStream over the manual method that we saw earlier is, first of all, there is easy to use web app interface for configuring these checks. We'll be looking at it in the demo which follows. The second advantage is we have like tried to figure out how to make these configuration processes quick and easy. So for certain checks like missings, don't knows, and refuses, for which generally there is a uniform way of coding them in the form, you would see like the way of configuring them on SurveyStream is quite easy. Then it's possible to pull in data from multiple forms together and build like a unified view on SurveyStream. So this includes like the main data quality, the main data collection form, the main survey form, as well as like data quality forms, like the forms which are used for conducting audio audits or for back checks or spot checks. The calculation logic for all of this, for like the standard checks, like constraints, outliers, those are all like tried and tested on SurveyStream. So this minimizes the scope of errors in comparison to like a scenario where a team is writing the code from scratch for every new survey. And lastly, like there are these templates that we have set up on Superset with standard data quality metrics, and these like can be customized as required. So before we go to the demo, I wanted to like highlight like how SurveyStream and SurveyCTO interact and what's the linkage between them. Yeah, so SurveyCTO is the data collection platform and SurveyStream is the survey management product. And SurveyStream works in conjunction with SurveyCTO. SurveyStream integrates with SurveyCTO, pulling data from SurveyCTO to support all the features that we talked about. And this like combination, this duo is like, we feel especially beneficial when working with large scale surveys for handling like higher volumes of data and larger field teams. All right, so with that, I'll hand it over to Utkarsh for the demo.
Thanks, Shiru, and hello everyone. We'll be moving towards SurveyStream demo. I'll show you our dashboard templates and how we use DQ data, and then I'll move to SurveyStream web app and show you how we add these DQ checks and configure DQ checks data on dashboard. So the first tab is productivity overview. This shows us overall productivity for your survey. We have the number of completed targets, the number of attempted targets. Targets in this case can be your household or respondents depending upon your survey. Total number of submissions from your mail form. This gives us an overall overview of how the survey is ongoing. Then we have completion and consent metrics at regional and survey level. So this shows how many targets are completed, how many are incomplete, how many are refused. And we also have a similar chart at sub-county level, which is our geographical level. What this helps us is with this, it tells us which portions of which geographical regions are completed, which geographical regions we need to focus more on, I think to add more surveyors. So it increases efficiency of our field teams. These insights are refreshed every 30 minutes, so you'll always have latest data. On all dashboard tabs, we have an enumerator and regional level filter, so you can always focus on specific data points if needed. So we can just say that I want to see 2 enumerators data only to check how many completions have they done, and that's it. So this was the productivity overview. We also do more detailed productivity charts, but today we'll focus more on data quality. So moving on to data quality. So this is our first chart, which is called DQ summary. Over the years, IDinsight has done a lot of data collection projects, which are small scale to large scale. And using that experience, we have optimized and experimented on a DQ approach, where for each enumerator, we try to find out the number of DQ failures per submission. So we get the total number of submissions he has done, total number of flags that has been raised by those submissions. And on that average, we calculate whether the surveyor has higher number of failures than the average 50%. If yes, we focus more on those enumerators for data quality checks. We do more rigorous data quality audits on those specific enumerators or do trainings as needed. Then we have checks for fact type chart. This tells us whether for these enumerators in these regions, which check types are higher. So I can use this table to see how many refusals, how many constraints are raised for specific enumerators. I can also use this to see which specific enumerator has a higher number of refusals. So maybe I can cross-check these data points to see why the refusal was done. Or we can also go and talk with the enumerator, retrain him to take consent so that the number of refusals drop. Then we have duration level charts. We keep this to track the average duration of survey by day and an overall average. This helps us track whether the survey is going all right, whether some surveys have a lower average, which might be a red flag, so we can cross-check those data points further. Moving on to field checks. Field checks are a unique feature of SurveyStream. What we do here is we combine your main form data with your other data quality forms data. So we combine data with a spot check form, a back check form, or a body audit form, and then we try to merge that data and then run data quality checks on them. So it enables more data quality checks than high frequency checks. For example, we have mismatches and protocol violations where you can compare a mismatch between your main form answer and your data quality form answer for the same question and see if there was a mismatch between them. And then on these tables, you will see how many mismatches were there. You can check if there was more mismatches for a specific enumerator and then focus on those data points on SurveyCTO for your form submissions. And then we also have spot check sports. Spot checks are done at the same time when the survey happens, and we just check whether the respondent was comfortable, whether the surveyor took consent. So these helps us analyze whether these surveyors will take following proper protocols or not. And if you see lesser numbers here, you can always retrain the survey. So that's how we use this DQ information in our day-to-day operations. So we generally have daily reviews in our DQ. In our survey operations, where they use this data to analyze what to do next. Apart from this, we have more detailed data at question level, where it tells you for which question we have higher number of flag types. So for a specific question, if it has a higher number of misses or a higher number of refusals, you might want to check the form definition and change the question laterally so that it makes the question easier for surveyor to explain. Or you might want to retrain enumerators on these specific questions, so the number of missings or refusals you are getting in these questions reduces. Then we have a more detailed submission level table as well, which tells for which submission, which question failed the data quality check. You can use this to cross-check SurveyCTO, makes the work easier, moving from an overview tab to a detailed tab to checking it back on SurveyCTO. So that constitutes our superset dashboard demo for data quality. This is how we display dashboard, display DQ data on dashboard. We also do more detailed charts, but for now we move to SurveyStream web app. So this is the home page for our SurveyStream web app. Here you will see all surveys we have been working on. So the active surveys we have, if you have worked in past, you'll see any past surveys as well. And then if you want to add a new survey, you can go add it here. For the purpose of this demo, I'm using a pre-filled survey. This is how your survey page looks like. So when you come on SurveyStream, I think the first question is how do we start? What do we need to start? So we don't need much information. First of all, you need to fill in your background details. So what's your survey name? When it starts, then it ends. And that's it. You click on save and you're done. You fill on your background details. Then you need to decide on which features you are going to use for SurveyStream. And to use this, you can also use our documentation link to check out which features we have, how they suit to your survey or not. So going back, you can select whichever feature you want. For the purpose of this demo, I've selected dashboard. Click on save, and those features or those configuration items will be enabled for you. Now we have set background details. We have selected which features we want. The next step is integrating SurveyCTO with SurveyStream. So now we are using SurveyCTO for data collection. We just need to connect that SurveyCTO server to SurveyStream to fetch that data. So what details does SurveyStream need? We need a SurveyCTO server name and your main form ID. Just fill those two in, main form name, and then just add us as a data manager access. With the data manager access on the SurveyCTO server, you will need API access for this. And that's it. You fill in this form, click on save, and we are connected to your SurveyCTO server. Once done, you just need to map these mandatory details like service status or target ID, which can be respondent, household, or anything. And these are your SurveyCTO variables coming from main form. So map the mandatory fields to the SurveyCTO variables in your main form. Click on save, and within 2 minutes, your SurveyCTO server, your main form is connected to SurveyStream. We are fetching your data at this point. Now we have done our basic configuration, added SurveyCTO, and then we can go on and add our data quality checks. So on the data quality configuration, there's 2 steps. The first step, you can add any other form you want. So you already have your main form name. But now you want to add another form, such as an audio audit form to calculate mismatch or protocol violations. So you can add that. You can also add a spot check, a back check, or any other kind of data quality form. What SurveyStream does is SurveyStream will combine main forms data with this forms data, and then do additional data quality checks on it. When you click on save, your form gets connected. You just need to map mandatory fields, and that's it. That's what the form added. Yeah, so just 1 minute for adding form. You can add as many forms as you want it. Now data quality checks. So we have added our data quality forms. Now we need to add data quality checks. We have around 10 types of data quality checks that you can add. Some of these are the common high frequency checks, such as logic checks, outliers, missing don't know refusal. And there are our field checks, which come from another form, which are less matches, protocol violations, spot check scores. We also have GPS checks enabled on GPS coordinates from SurveyCTO. So you just need to go on and decide which checks you want. Let's start with refusals, and I'll show you how to add a refusal check. Yeah. So for checks like refusal or don't know, where the definition of the check is very common across all variables, we have an apply check on all variables in form. We can apply a check on all variables. What SurveyStream will do is, SurveyStream will fetch the form definition from SurveyCTO, check for all variables where this value is present, and then run a check. So let's say my refusal value is -99 and -99 in my main count. So I just add that, click on save, and my refusal check is done. So you can apply it on all variables if you want. You can also apply it in on set of variables. So you can do like a bulk add or a single add, and you can just select which variables you want it on. So I can just say I want this on these 3 variables. Yeah. So that's all. You can add as many checks as you want. So we have added refusals. Now let's try adding a mismatch check. As I mentioned, mismatch checks are between 2 forms. So when you go on and click on add, it will ask which form you want to compare the results to. And then you can select which variables you want. So I want to check for area variable, whether the crop area is same as mentioned in main and audio audit form. And then when you add any check, you have a lot of configurable options as well. So let's say you can add a filter as well. You only want to do this check when the respondent has given you a consent to listen to audio, since we are doing it from audio. So that's it. You can add as many filters as you want when you have these data quality checks. And that's it. You have added a mismatch. So you have added a mismatch check, you have added refusals. I'll also show you an outlier check. So as you can see, adding checks is the same process. The only thing that changes across the check type is what options you have. For example, in outliers, we have the measures. So you can have an outlier on standard deviation or percentile. Let's say I want the land cultivate area between a standard deviation of 1.8. So that's it. So what changes between all these types of check is the configuration part. Each check has a different type of configuration, but the basic, but there's a common part to it. So as you can see, within the call, we have added around 6 or 7 checks. We could have added hundreds of checks in those 10 minutes as well. That's how we add a DQ check. As soon as you add a DQ check, within 30 minutes, your data will be visible on the dashboard. Our pipeline runs every 30 minutes. We fetch the data from SurveyCTO, run the data quality checks that have been configured here, and then display output on dashboard. Okay, that's it. That's the demo. I'll pass it back to G.
Thanks, Utkarsh. All right. So I hope that demo gives like a picture of what the data quality monitoring feature on SurveyStream is. So we can go ahead, move on to the next section where we are going to zoom out now and bring back what we talked about, like what was the status quo of survey management and like how SurveyStream changed that. All right. So yeah, as we saw earlier, there are these like different stages in like a survey data collection. SurveyStream actually provides features which intersect with each of these like different buckets of different stages in this life cycle. I'm not going to go into a lot of this, but this is what we mentioned also during when we are going over the features. Yeah, so SurveyStream has currently been used within IDinsight for over 30 to 35 surveys now. And across the years, we have been continuously refining the features based on what the teams require and based on feedback we have been getting from the teams using SurveyStream. Also from discussions with the different teams, what we understand is the main benefits of using SurveyStream cut across these different areas. So first of all, there's improvements in the speed of data collection. So different features being able to send out timely assignments to surveyors, through email assignments feature on SurveyStream, or maybe providing the assignments optimization feature. They are aimed at improving and gaining efficiencies in the speed of data collection. And that results in lower overall cost of data collection as well. Thirdly, there is improvement in the quality because there is now uniformity in the practices. Also the data quality feature, which we mentioned, enables teams to get access to data quality metrics as early in the survey as possible. So that leads to improved quality of the survey. Then there are definitely gains around data security because of the way in which data is accessed and shared. There is set methods and practices with using SurveyStream, which helps ensure that PII is not displayed and it's on superset, it's not on Google Sheets or downloaded on your system. And lastly, all of this effectively leads to improved team health, and there's gains on that as well. All right, so that brings us to the end. I'm going to now hand it over to Eric to wrap it up.
Thanks, Shinu. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for joining us today for the webinar. I had put this in the chat, but we have a docs site that you can check out. And yeah, thanks, Ukarsh. And that we have extensive documentation on all the different features of SurveyStream. We've got screenshots, videos, interactive demos you can check out. So you can really see what's there for each feature, the level of configurability, and what might kind of fit what your survey teams need. So please check that out. And we also have a contact us form that you can fill out if you're interested in using SurveyStream. I had also put this in the chat. I think there was a question about pricing. So SurveyStream has been used internally at IDinsight on a bunch of surveys, as Gina mentioned. We're interested in exploring external use. So we don't have kind of standard pricing right now, but if you're interested in using it, we would kind of pilot it with you. So that would be we would have some probably of Ukarsh's time to just support with the setup, make sure everything's good. And then kind of during this period where we're trying to pilot stuff, we would offer some sort of discounted pricing, just so you can check it out, see if it's working for you.